ओम सिद्धि बुद्धि प्रदे देवी भुक्ति मुक्ति प्रदायिनी मंत्रा मूर्ति सदा देवी महालक्ष्मी नमस्तुते। ओम लक्ष्मी करोतु कल्याणम आरोग्यम सुख संपदम मम शत्रु विनाशाय दीप ज्योतिर्नमस्तुते। नमस्ते अस्तु महामाये श्रीपीते सुरपूजिते शंख चक्र गदाहस्ते महालक्ष्मी नमस्तुते। बोलिए श्री महालक्ष्मी माता की जय। ओम ब्रह्मा मुरारे त्रिपुरांतकारी भानु शशि भूमिसुतो बुधश्च गुरुश्च शुक्रः शनिराहुकेतवः सर्वे ग्रह शांतिकर भवन्तु। बोलिए श्री सूर्यारि नवग्रह देवता की जय।
चरणा गजानना
मंगल चरणा गजानना
मंगल चरणा गजानना
मंगल चरणा गजानना
गजवदना शुभानना
शुभानना
गजवदना शुभानना
गजवदना शुभानना
मंगल चरणा गजानना
मंगल चरणा गजानना
बोलो मंगल चरणा गजानना
जय अम्बे मां।
जगदोधारिणी मां, जय जय अम्बे मां।
जगदोधारिणी मां, जय जय अम्बे मां।
जगदोधारिणी मां, जय जय अम्बे मां।
देवी शारद मां, देवी सरस्वती मां।
देवी शारद मां, देवी सरस्वती मां।
दुर्गा भवानी मां, काली कपालिनी मां।
दुर्गा भवानी मां, काली कपालिनी मां।
जगदोधारिणी मां, जय जय अम्बे मां।
जगदोधारिणी मां, जय जय अम्बे मां।
देवी शारद मां, देवी सरस्वती मां।
देवी शारद मां, देवी सरस्वती मां।
दुर्गा भवानी मां, काली कपालिनी मां।
दुर्गा भवानी मां, काली कपालिनी मां।
जगदोधारिणी मां, जय जय अम्बे मां।
जगदोधारिणी मां, जय जय अम्बे मां।
देवी शारद मां, देवी सरस्वती मां।
देवी शारद मां, देवी सरस्वती मां।
देवी शारद मां, देवी सरस्वती मां। देवी शारद मां, देवी सरस्वती मां।
ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय।
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 ॐ अच्युतं केशवं कृष्णदामोदरम्
अच्युतं केशवं कृष्णदामोदरं
रामनारायणं जानकीवल्लभम्
रामनारायणं जानकीवल्लभम्
अच्युतं केशवं कृष्णदामोदरम्
अच्युतं केशवं कृष्णदामोदरं
रामनारायणं जानकीवल्लभम्
रामनारायणं जानकीवल्लभम्
कौन कहते हैं भगवान आते नहीं
कौन कहते हैं भगवान आते नहीं
रामनारायणं जानकीवल्लभम्
रामनारायणं जानकीवल्लभम्
कौन कहते
आराधे मन श्याम राधे आराधे मन
श्याम राधे
आराधे मन श्याम राधे
आराधे मन श्याम राधे
श्याम राधे हरे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे हरे श्याम राधे आराधे मन श्याम राधे हरे श्याम राधे अमृत में हरे नाम तिहारा अमृत में हरे
नाम तिहारा
दीनन का हरे ही सहारा
दीनन का हरे ये सहारा
निश दिन सुमेरे राधे राधे श्याम राधे हरे श्याम राधे आराधे मन श्याम राधे हरे श्याम राधे मोहन की मुरली नित पाचे मोहन की
मुरली नित पाचे
प्राणन में नाम विराजे प्राणन में हरे दिन दिन भगति आघारे श्याम राधे हरे श्याम राधे आराधे मन श्याम राधे हरे
श्याम राधे
राधा भक्ति श्याम मिलावे राधा भक्ति
श्याम मिलावे
आराधन राधा बन जावे आराधन
राधा बन जावे
उनकी शरण हो ज्ञान साधे श्याम राधे हरे श्याम राधे आराधे मन श्याम राधे श्याम राधे हरे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे हरे श्याम राधे आराधे मन श्याम राधे
कृष्ण कृष्ण मना मोहना कृष्ण कृष्ण मना मोहना कृष्ण कृष्ण मना मोहना
कृष्ण कृष्ण मना मोदना
चित चोरा राधा जीवना चित चोरा चित चोरा राधा जीवना
चित चोरा राधा जीवना
मेघ श्याम मधुसूदना मेघ श्याम मधुसूदना राधा कांता यदुनंदना राधा कांता यदुनंदना कृष्ण कृष्ण मना मोहना
कृष्ण कृष्ण मना मोदना
कृष्ण कृष्ण मना मोहना
कृष्ण कृष्ण मना मोदना
चित चोरा राधा जीवना
चित चोरा राधा जीवना
चित चोरा राधा जीवना
चित चोरा राधा जीवना
मेघ श्याम मधुसूदना मेघ श्याम मधुसूदना राधा कांता यदुनंदना राधा कांता यदुनंदना कृष्ण कृष्ण मना मोहना
कृष्ण कृष्ण मना मोदना
कृष्ण कृष्ण मना मोहना
कृष्ण कृष्ण मना मोहना
चित चोरा राधा जीवना
चित चोरा राधा जीवना
चित चोरा राधा जीवना
चित चोरा राधा जीवना
मेघ श्याम मधुसूदना मेघ श्याम
मधुसूदना गोविंदा
कृष्ण जय जय गोविंदा कृष्ण जय जय 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 गोविंदा जय जय नारायण नारायण हरि हरि
जय जय नारायण नारायण हरे हरे
जय जय नारायण नारायण हरि हरि
जय जय नारायण नारायण हरे हरे
जय जय नारायण नारायण हरि हरि
जय जय नारायण नारायण हरे हरे
स्वामी नारायण नारायण हरि हरि
स्वामी नारायण नारायण हरे हरे
तेरे लीला सबसे न्यारी न्यारी हरि हरि
तेरे लीला सबसे न्यारी न्यारी हरी हरी
तेरी
बोली श्री वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, सत्य सनातन dharma की जय. A cordial welcome, devotees, to all who are present in person today at the Mandir and those who are joining with us online as we engage in our Sunday morning devotion, being that we have entered into the period of Pitri Paksh from yesterday. And during this time, is very auspicious to make offerings on behalf of those who have departed this world. I've received this question about 2 or 3 times during this past week, so I thought it would be very beneficial to share this answer with everyone so that we understand in Pitri Paksh whom should we make offerings for. So when someone passes away, it takes a period of 1 year in order for them to reach to Yamlok. From the day of the what we call Uttam Shodashi, or the Bhandara as we commonly call it, that soul starts to take that journey towards Yamlok. It has not reached Pitri Lok as yet. So only after a period of 1 year is completed, then that Atma is said to enter into Pitri Lok. And this is when the offerings are done during the Pitri Paksh period for that Atma. Not before, because it's non-beneficial for them. There's no benefits to them, because during the period of Pitri Paksh, this is the time that those departed ancestors who are residing now in Pitri Lok are allowed to come amongst their descendants, children, grandchildren, etc., to accept offerings being made on their behalf. So this is important for us to know and to understand also. So today our devotion, of course, is dedicated on behalf of those who have passed on. So before we do our mantra jap havan, each and every one of us in our lives, there may have been someone who has passed on in our families. And today we take this moment to think about them and to pray on their behalf. We ask Shri Krishna Bhagavan in the form of Gita Mata, that representation of Shri Krishna, to shower grace and blessings upon them. Hari Om. Parthaya pratibodhitam bhagavatam Narayanena swayam Vyasena gratitam Purana munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrita varshini bhagavate Ashtadashadhyayini Amba Tvamanusandadhami Bhagavat Gite Bhavadveshini Namostute Vyasa Vishal Buddhi Pular Vindayat Patra Netraha Yena Tvaya Bharat Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradeepaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vaitraika Panaye Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya Gita-amrita Duhe Namaha Sarva Upanishado Gavo Dugdha Gopal Nandanaha Parto Vatsa Sudhir Bhukta Dugdham Gita-amritam Mahat Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanur Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। बोली श्री वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, श्री गीता माता की जय। So at this time, devotees, we'll engage in Havan together, after which we'll read a few lines out of Bhagavad Gita this morning as we strive and we make these efforts to uplift ourselves in our spiritual journey. Pass the water. Om mandakinyastu yadvari sarva papaharam shubham taridam kalapitam deva samyagya achmanyatvam tvaya iti achmanyam samarpayami. Om Shri Ganesh Devtabhyo Namaha Swaha. Om Ganganapataye Namaha Swaha. Om Ganganapataye Namaha Swaha. Om Shri Gauri Mataye Namaha Swaha. Shri Shankar Bhagavan Bhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Agni Devtabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Kalash Devtabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Varun Devtabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Mahalakshmi Mataye Namaha Swaha. Shri Mahavishnu Bhagavan Bhyo Namaha Swaha. Om Namo Narayanaya Bhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Surya Devtabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Chandra Devtabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Mangal Devtabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Buddha Devtabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Brihaspati Devtabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Shukra Devtabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Shani Devtabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Rahu Devtabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Ketu Devtabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Pranayabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Apanayabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Samanayabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Indriyayabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Udanikayabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Ishtadevtabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Kul Devtabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Sthan Devtabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Gram Devtabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Mata Pita Charan Kamlebhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Panchpal Devtabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Das Dikpal Devtabhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Adi Shakti Durga Mataye Namaha Swaha. Shri Nau Durga Devibhyo Namaha Swaha. Om Aim Saraswati Mataye Namaha Swaha. Shri Ramchandra Bhagavan Bhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Krishna Bhagavan Bhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Gita Mata Bhyo Namaha Swaha. Shri Hanumate Devta Bhyo Namaha Swaha. We all join together as we chant Brahm Gayatri Mantra. Om Bhurabhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhurabhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा। महामृत्युंजय मंत्र। ॐ त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमेव वन्दनाम् मृत्योर्मुक्ष्यमामृतात् स्वाहा। ॐ त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमेव वन्दनाम् मृत्योर्मुक्ष्यमामृतात् स्वाहा। ॐ त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमेव वन्दनाम् मृत्योर्मुक्ष्यमामृतात् स्वाहा। So we chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, 9 recitations. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Swaha. 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 Shri Sarva Devata Devyo Bhyo Namaha Swaha. Prepare for fire now. Yeah. May we all stand who are here as we take part in the final offering. Om Purnamada Purnamiram Purnat Purnam Mudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Sarvam Vai Purnagvam Swaha. बोलिए श्री वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, श्री गीता माता की जय. Pass the water. Om Mandakinyastu Yadvari Sarva Papa Haram Shubham Tariram Kalapitam Devam Samyagya Achmanyatvam Tvayaiti Achmanyam Samarpayami. Take blessings from the fire. You all can have your seats now. Before we read a few lines out of Bhagavad Gita, let us all contemplate at the feet of Sri Krishna Bhagavan as we seek His grace and blessings this morning before reading out of His very wonderful, that very valuable, most precious scripture known as Bhagavad Gita. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatye Namaha. Om Shri Guru Charan Kamale Bhyo Namo Namaha. Tapt Kanchan Gaurangi राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरे वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। बोली श्री वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। This morning, devotees, we will read a few lines from chapter 8, Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna, in the very first shloka, he is posing 7 questions to Shri Krishna. 7 questions he asks of Shri Krishna. What are these questions? We hear in this shloka. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Kim tad brahma kim adhyatmam kim karma purushottama adhibhutam cha kim prokta adhidevam kimuchyate adhiyagya katham kotra dehesmin madhusudana प्रयान काले चा कथम ज्ञेयोसि नित्यमात्मभि। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। So, Shri Krishna is referred to in this shloka as Purushottama. Purushottama. In that time, Shri Krishna took incarnation in a human form, divine human form. And he is called Purushottama, means the utmost, the best amongst all the Purushas. Who is a Purusha? We are. We are Purushas. Human beings, oh best of all human beings. Kim tad Brahma. He says, what do you mean by the term of Brahma? Who is Brahm? This is one of the questions that's asked by Arjuna. He says, Kim adhyatmam. What is meant by the term Adhyatma? We may have heard some of these words before. Kim Karma. What is meant by karma? Adhi Bhutam. What does the term Adhi Bhuta mean? Adhi Daivam. What does Adhi Daiva mean? All these words are used. Adhi Yagya. What is Adhi Yagya? And he asked, how are you to be realized, O Madhusudana, O Shri Krishna? How are you to be realized at the time of death? So now lies the question, devotees. When we pass on from this world, which ultimately is a reality, for each and every one of us, what experience would we like to have in that moment? We have all heard the statement, as we make our bed, so shall we lie. So comfortable we will be. So if we don't make the bed at all, it wouldn't be very comfortable at all. So whatever experience we'd like to have at that point when we vacate this body, so we should live our lives. This is very important to remember. Just this morning, devotees, I was listening to a very wonderful discourse by Swami Mukundananda. And Swami Mukundananda was speaking about what motivates us to do what we do. What motivates us to do what we do? He cited two main types of motivation. One, external. Two, internal. External motivations come from factors that are outside of us. So for example, if Devesh's father tell him, if you don't clean the house, you get licks. If he says that to him, that's an external motivation. Right? Or if you do well in school, I'll buy you X. So that's an external form of motivation. Now, if we become dependent on external forms of motivation, then we constantly have to look. We constantly have to look to find it. And what happens when that motivation becomes absent? When there's no external form of motivation, then we just sit back and do nothing. We are not motivated, we are uninspired to do anything. So now, devotees, we have to think, where should that motivation come from? Internally. Internally, we should be motivated. That we should not rely on external factors to motivate us to do things that we are supposed to do. Now also, we have to understand that there's motivation to do things that are good for us. There's also motivation to do things that are opposite, that are not good. Do you know that? You know, sometimes we are tempted to do things that are not good for us. Yes? That ever happened to anybody? Divya? You ever motivated to do things that are not good? I don't understand what that means. Huh? A little bit? Not plenty. But sometimes. Okay. So you see, we try to minimize that. Right? Which is good. Yes, devotees, we are motivated sometimes in the wrong way to do wrong things. And those are negative influences that are there, whether outside or inside. Negative influences are there. Now we have to know which motivation to follow as well. Which one are we going to listen to? The one that's leading me in the wrong direction? or the one that leading me in the right direction? Now, most times, the one that's leading in the right direction is not very attractive at all. Doesn't look very attractive to us. But the one that's leading in the wrong direction is very attractive. Seems to be very enjoyable, very tempting. Go towards that one. But that motivation, devotees, should come from inside. The motivation to do that which is good for ourselves. So if we do constantly things that are good for ourselves, what happens to us? Naturally, we will become better, isn't it? If we constantly strive for improvement, wouldn't we become better? Yes. It stands to reason that we should become better. And at the time of vacating this body, if we are continuously striving to become better, then what will happen to us at the time when we have to leave? We'll be contented. We'll be peaceful. We'll be happy, knowing that we did our best in this world. And we didn't leave any stone unturned. And we did not knowingly do wrong things to put impediments and obstacles in our own way. Now, internal motivation requires some form of effort. It doesn't just happen just like that, sit down and say, okay, I'm inspired. Does it happen? Karishma? Does it happen? You just sit down and say, I'm inspired. I'm going to do all my homework today. I'm inspired. I'm going to study today. I'm inspired. No. Doesn't happen just like that. Because what happens? We say, yes, okay, I'm going towards my school books. I'm going to get this task done. But then the first thing we see that distracts us, what happens? Went in a different direction, right? We see a tablet, we see a phone, we see a TV. What happens? We go in a different direction because that motivation is not strong enough. So Swamiji was saying that if you tell someone that wake up 3 o'clock in the morning, wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, and take your bath and sit and do meditation, sit and do your prayer. And they'll say, what are you doing? You trying to torture me? You trying to torture me? Wake up so early, and on top of that, I'll sit down and meditate too. Right? Most times that's the response you will get. That's too hard. That's too difficult. But if there's something else that we have to do, if there's a big exam the next day that we have to prepare for, and we know, hey, I need to get an A in this course. I have to get an A in this course. It doesn't matter if we have to stay up all night and study, we'll do it, isn't it? We'll do it. And why is that? Because we have cemented a very important reason in our mind. The important reason is I need to get an A. So therefore, I will make the effort. So when we cement on it a reason in our mind that we need to pray, then it will start to happen. Then we'll be inspired. Then we'll be motivated. Why I need to pray? We need to put that in our heads. Our intellect needs to be programmed like this. To say, hey, you need to do X, Y, and Z to make yourself better. Now that intellect starts to control the mind. The mind starts to control the body. Not the other way around, as we discussed during our Ganesh Yagya. The other way around is the senses control the mind control the intellect, everything upside down. Everything is confused. We need to establish a strong line of reasoning in our intellect. Program our intellect. what you're supposed to do. What you're supposed to do. Make each and every day a meaningful day, an inspired day, a motivated day, a positive day in your life. Who stands to benefit? Me? No. If your day becomes positive, then you are the one to benefit. There's no benefit to me. I'm happy if you're happy. I'm happy to see others doing well. But it doesn't directly benefit me. If I want to benefit me, I have to do it myself. I have to motivate myself. I have to establish that why, that line of reasoning in my mind. So if we want that time, devotees, when we are leaving this world to be an enjoyable moment, then when we should wait to establish the why? Is there a good time to establish the why in our minds? Is there a good time, Devesh? No, there's not a good time. Well, there is a good time. The good time is now. Right? The good time is now. We have to do it now. You know, King Janak was called Videharaj. Videharaj means a king that has renounced everything. He has nothing that he identifies with materially. And there was two great pandits, scholars in that kingdom. And they went to Videharaj, they went to King Janak. Well, they were discussing amongst themselves first, how can he be called Videharaj? How can he be called this one who has renounced everything when he has so much wealth around him? So much opulence, so much luxuries around him. How can he be said to be that one who has renounced everything? So one said, well, let's go ask him. He said, are you crazy? The other one said, are you crazy? If we go and ask him that and he tell us, there's some punishment going to come behind. These kings have a lot of power. So he said, no, he's not like that. Let's go ask him. So both of them went now to Raja Janak and they asked the question of him, how are you said to be this person who has renounced everything? You have so much around you. So Raja Janak looked at them and he said, how dare both of you come and ask me such a question? How dare you ask me such a question? Tomorrow, I'm going to give you all punishment. Both of you will be hanged tomorrow. They said, what? But today you will enjoy. So he called, the people in the palace and he told them to give them the best food today. Give them the best clothing today. Give them the best ornaments today. Let them sleep on the best bed tonight, for tomorrow they will be hanged. Tomorrow they will be hanged. So said, so done. They gave them the best of everything. Best food, best clothes, jewelry, everything. They give them. Best bed to sleep in. All the comforts is there. The next morning, Raja Janak got up, they got up, took them to the gallows. So about to be hanged now, he told them, okay, I'll give you one chance. I'll give you one chance to think and to save yourself. So he gave them two big containers with oil filled to the top. He says, I want you to walk around Janakpuri. I want you to walk around this city. Both of you. Do not spill one drop of oil, and then your life will be saved. Will you take it? He said, very, very much so, we'll take that chance. So they were given the 2 jars of oil, put it on their head. And very carefully, they're walking around. Very carefully, they're walking around. Till some time later now, they reach back. They told Raja Janak that everything has been completed. Not one drop has spilled. So, They took down the jars of oil. He said, okay, now your life is saved. He said, but tell me, whilst you're walking around the city with this jar on your head, how much time did you think about wealth? How much time did you think about jewelry and land and so on? He said, Maharaj, where was the time? Where was the time to think about all of these things? Our mind was completely fixed on making sure no oil was spilled so that we can save our life. He said, very good. He said, what about yesterday? What about yesterday? When you were given the best of clothing, the best of food, the best of bed, jewelry, did you enjoy any of it? I said, Maharaj, how could we enjoy anything? Because we know today that we was going to be hanged. We was going to lose his life. How could we enjoy anything? So Raja Janak said, now do you understand? Now do you understand why I can be called Videharaj? Because I know in my mind one day all of this wealth and luxury doesn't belong to me anymore. I don't know if it's today, tomorrow, next week, next year. We don't know. We don't know when that day will come. As such, why be attached to it? Why consider it mine when one day I know I have to leave it? Do you all understand that? You all understand that concept, that thought that Raja Janak has? But yet still devotees, we have a little bit like this, and we holding on to it, full attachment. When that time comes, devotees, and we have to be detached forcefully from it, it's very painful. It becomes very painful. Is that like, those who grew up in Trinidad, Uncle Baliram, you grew up in Trinidad, and, people use pelt mango, right? Pelt mango to get it down from the tree. So when the mango green, you will have to pelt it, right? You have to make a great effort to get it down from the tree. If the mango ripe, it falls easily. In the same way, devotees, the greenness means that we are still so attached to material things that it takes a lot of effort to pry us away, drag us away, to break us away from all this attachment. God Puran tells us that for the average person today, the experience of death is like the sting of 1,000 scorpions. That's the pain that is felt at that time when we are very attached to things of this world. So therefore, devotees, it is in our best interest for ourselves. Have whatever you want to have. Whatever God affords you to get in this world, have it. There's nothing wrong. But please understand that they are not yours. Do not become attached to it. Do not become attached to it. Otherwise, it will only cause you pain and suffering later on. Boli Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. So these questions were posed to Shri Krishna. And then Shri Krishna started to reply. He said to Arjuna, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Bolo Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Aksharam Brahma Paramam Svabhavo Dhyatma Muchyate Bhuta Bhavo Bhava Karo Visarga Karma Samgita Shri Krishna Sharanam Namah. Shri Krishna Sharanam Namah. Shri Krishna Sharanam Namah.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Namah.
Bolo Shri Krishna Sharanam Namah. 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 Shri Krishna started to reply, Aksharam Brahma Paramam Sarva Bhavo Dhyatma Muchyate. He said, Aksharam Brahma Paramam. That who is Brahm? Who is Brahm? Brahm is that Aksharam Paramam. Paramam Aksharam. That one who is supreme and imperishable is called Brahm. So who is Brahm? That final prayer that we say, Hey Sarva Shaktiman, O all powerful Lord, Sachidanand, who is truth, consciousness and bliss. This is Brahm. This is Brahm. The Supreme Lord Himself is called Brahm. Sarv Swabhavo Dhyatma Muchyate. And who is Adhyatma? We spoke about this during our Ganesh Yagya as well. 3 types of suffering. Adhyatma means one's own self. One's own self is Adhyatma. And one's own nature. Now what determines our nature, devotees? What determines our nature? You look around the world today and you see all different kind of nature. People, all different types of behaviors, attitude, natures, we will say. So what causes all these different types of natures to happen? How does this come about, devotees? The sum total of our karmas or actions, sum total of our education or knowledge, sum total of our experiences. These all come together to form our nature. What we have experienced in life shapes us in some way. What we have learned in life shapes us in some way, not only in this life, but all the previous lives as well. Right? You see different babies being born. And the babies, from very small, they're showing personality, isn't it? They're showing certain types of traits, behavioral traits, from very small. How is this? In psychology, there's the concept of tabula rasa. What is that? What is that? Tabula rasa means the concept of a blank slate, that we are born with a blank slate. But how does this make sense, devotees? When from very small, a child is showing certain behavioral traits. Sanatan Dharma, we speak about vasanas, which is sum total of karmas, education, experiences that comes with us, travels with us from body to body. There is no concept of tabula rasa. No concept of this. So this shapes our nature. So if in the past, we were not very educated, our karmas weren't very good, and then, our experiences also weren't very good. We may not have a very good nature. But what can we do, devotees? Are we doomed? No. There's something else now called nurture. We can nurture ourselves in a different way. If we so choose. If we choose to do so, we can make changes in our life. You know why? You know why, devotees? Because we have intelligence, we have a brain, we have an intellect, we have a thinking capability. Unfortunately, too many people in the world don't use it. We don't use it. We just fall prey to anything and everything that comes to us. And we don't use that intellectual capability that God has blessed us with. Only human beings have this, devotees. Only human beings have this thinking capability. Animals don't. Animals don't have it. Lower forms of life, they don't have that intellectual capability. They rely on instinct and impulse for their behavior. So our nature, our self, we are called Adhyatma. Bhuta bhavod bhavakkaro visarga karma sanjita. He says that what is called karma, the karma is the immediate cause of why we are in existence. Boli Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai. Do you understand? Karma is the immediate cause of why we are in existence. At the time of dissolution, when this creation is destroyed, then all of Prakriti, all of nature, all that is created becomes dissolved back. But those who have unfinished karmas, those who have those egotistical ways, they also absorb back. But when time of creation comes again, they are sent back into this world according to their karmas. According to their karmas. Many times we ask this question, so why certain people are born? Why are we born? Because we have karmas to finish. We have karmas to work out. This is the reason why we are here. And until we work out those karmas, we will continue to come and come again. And if dissolution come and reach us and we still have karmas to come back, then we'll be born again in the next creation. So we have to understand this, devotees. Until we can free ourselves of karmas, we'll keep coming. Coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. The Lord explains to us very, very nicely what is karma. What is karma? The cause of existence. The cause of existence. You know, we have to clear ourselves of this karma. It's a very beautiful bhajan that reminds us that every action that we perform, we are conscious of it. Isn't it? Every action that we perform, we are conscious of it. We know whether it's a good action or bad action. There's no in-between actions. There's good actions, there's bad actions. We are conscious of those actions. Who else is conscious? Who else is conscious of those actions, devotees? The Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord is conscious of each and every activity that we perform. Tere karma kahani, tere atma bhi jani, paramatma bhi jani. Tere karma kahani, तेरे आत्मा भी जाने परमात्मा भी जाने तेरे कर्म कहानी
तेरे आत्मा भी जाने परमात्मा भी जाने
कहाँ छुपेगा रे प्राणी प्राणी रे प्राणी रे कहाँ छुपेगा रे प्राणी तेरे आत्मा भी जाने परमात्मा भी जाने तेरे परम कहानी, तेरे आत्मा भी जाने,
परमात्मा भी जाने,
तेरे परम कहानी, तेरे आत्मा भी जाने, परमात्मा भी जाने, परमात्मा भी जाने, परमात्मा भी जाने। बोली श्री वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। परमात्मा भी जाने, that's the Supreme Lord is conscious. Why is the Lord conscious, devotees? Why is the Lord conscious? We'll hear in this next shloka as the Lord continues to answer these questions of Arjuna. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Bolo Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama,
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Adhibhutam Ksharo Bhava Purushashadevatam Adhiyagyo Hame Vatra Dehe Deha Pritambara. Bolo Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama,
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Bolo Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama,
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Adhibhutam Ksharo Bhava. That, what is Adhibhuta? Adhibhuta is described as what is the perishable that we see around us. What is perishable that we see around us? What is comprised of the 5 elements? That which is perishable is called Adhibhuta. Adhideva, again, very simply, this concept, this word has been used to describe Brahma, the Supreme Lord Himself. Adhi yagyo hame vatra. He says that in this body, the Lord is called Adhi Yagya. Adhi Yagya means that I dwell as the inner witness in the body. Boli Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai. So, you understand why? Paramatma bhi jane. Because He is Adhi Yagya. He is the indweller in each and every one of us. I've explained this before, where there's a person by the name of Chitragupta. Right? You ever hear about him? No? Yes, Chitragupta is the chief records keeper. Right? He records everything that is happening. And when we reach to Yamlok, pull out the book, pull out the computer, and says, this is what was done. Right? Whatever name you call, this is what was done in your life. Now, how do you account? You have the answer now. You have no choice, eh? No backup that time. Nobody backing us up. There's a road we walk by ourselves. We stand up by ourselves. So they'll say, Sarah, why you did this? Why you did this action? Now, if it's a bad action, what are you going to say? So now we have to ask ourselves, who is Chitragupta? Is it one person? Is one individual taking record for how much different people in the world? No devotees. We listen to the name, Chitra Gupta, right? So Chit means what? Consciousness. Gupta means secret. So it's our own consciousness, what we call the subconscious. What we call the subconscious is continuously recording. And that subconscious is aware of every single thought that we entertain. Do you notice? So if I sit down here and I say, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, but I'm looking out, I see Devesh, and say, boy, I don't like Devesh, My subconscious is now recording. Oh, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, the lips, but thinking bad things, thinking wrong things. All of this is recorded. Adhi Yagya. Right? We should remember this term. Adhi Yagya. The Lord is the indweller of each and every person. Boli Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. So perhaps next week we will continue from this point where we listen again what Shri Krishna replies to Arjuna. So at this time, devotees will engage in our final arti. For those who are here, we please stand as we take part in arti. So there will be extra thalis prepared, so those who would like to come forward and perform arti can feel free to do so. Om Sajang Chavarti Sanyuktam Vahnina Yojitam Maya Deepam Grihan Devesh Trailokyam Timirapaham. Om Jai Shri Krishna Hare Prabhu Jai Shri Krishna Hare Sharan Tumhari Bhagavan Sharan Tumhari Bhagavan Naiya Par Kare. Om Jai Shri Krishna Hare Jai Shri Krishna Hare Prabhu Jai Shri Krishna Hare Sharan Tumhare Bhagavan Sharan Tumhare Bhagavan Naiya Par Kare. Om Jai Shri Krishna Hare Om
Jai Shri Krishna Hare
Mora Mukut Shir Sohe Gale Mein Jai Mala Prabhu Gale Mein Jai Mala Sham Varan Mukh Sundar Sham Varan Mukh Sundar Jai Jai Nand Lala. Om Jai Shri Krishna Hare Om
Jai Shri Krishna Hare
He Yaduvansh Vibhushan Tum Mere Swami Prabhu Tum Mere Swami सेवक की सुधि लेना सेवक की सुधि लेना प्रभु अंतरयामी। ओम जय श्री कृष्ण हरे ओम हे गीता के गायक जननायक तुम हो प्रभु जननायक तुम हो भक्तों के रखवाले भक्तों के रखवाले वरदायक तुम हो ओम जय श्री कृष्ण हरे
जय श्री कृष्ण हरे
तुम गोवर धन धारे द्रौपदी दुख हारी प्रभु द्रौपदी दुख हारी मेरा भी दुख तारो मेरा भी दुख तारो प्रभु मंगलकारी ओम जय श्री कृष्ण हरे
जय श्री कृष्ण हरे
राणा ने मेरा को भेजा विष प्याला प्रभु भेजा विष प्याला तुमने पल में विष को तुमने पल में विष को अमृत कर डाला ओम जय श्री कृष्ण हरे
जय श्री कृष्ण हरे
विप्र सुदामा की थी तुमने मदद करी प्रभु तुमने मदद करी कुतिया महल बना रे कुतिया महल बना रे सारे विपत्ति हरे ओम जय श्री कृष्ण हरे ओम
जय श्री कृष्ण हरे
बिगड़ी बनाने वाले बिगड़ी बना मेरे प्रभु बिगड़ी बना मेरे तार दया की दृष्टि तार दया की दृष्टि मत कर प्रभु देरी ओम जय श्री कृष्ण हरे ओम
जय श्री कृष्ण हरे
हे त्रिभुवन के त्राता दाता दुख हरता प्रभु दाता दुख हरता सबके काज सवारो सबके काज सवारो करो दया भरता ओम जय श्री कृष्ण हरे ओम
जय श्री कृष्ण हरे
सुर नर ऋषि मुनि सारे गावत गुण तेरे प्रभु गावत गुण तेरे जन्म जन्म के फेरे जन्म जन्म के फेरे गाता प्रभु मेरे ओम जय श्री कृष्ण हरे
जय श्री कृष्ण हरे
जय श्री कृष्ण हरे प्रभु जय श्री कृष्ण हरे शरण तुम्हारे भगवान शरण तुम्हारे भगवान नैया पार करे ओम जय श्री कृष्ण हरे ओम जय श्री कृष्ण हरे नंदलालाय तु नंदलाला नंदलालाय नंदलालाय तु नंदलाला वृंदावन ही नंदलाला वृंदावन ही नंदलाला Krishna Kanhaiya Nand Lala,
Krishna Kanhaiya Nand Lala,
O Krishna Kanhaiya Nand Lala,
Krishna Kanhaiya Nand Lala,
He Madhusudan Nand Lala,
He Madhusudan Nand Lala,
O He Madhusudan Nand Lala,
He Madhusudan Nand Lala,
Nand Lala Yadu 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 Nand Lala,
Vrindavan He Nand Lala,
Vrindavan He Nand Lala,
O Vrindavan He Nand Lala,
Vrindavan He Nand Lala,
Sham Murari Ghane Sham Murari,
Sham Murari Sham Murari,
Sham Murari Ghane Sham Murari,
Sham Murari Sham Murari,
Giridhar Gopal Giridhari,
Giridhar Gopal Giridhari,
Giridhar Gopal Giridhari,
Giridhar Gopal Giridhari,
Sham Murari Ghane Sham Murari,
Sham Murari Sham Murari,
Sham Murari Ghane Sham Murari,
Sham Murari Sham Murari,
सिद्ध चोरा यशोरा के पार नवनीत चोर गोपाल
Siddha Chora Yashoda ki paar, Navneet Chor Gopal,
गोपाल 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 गोबर धन धर गोपाल
Gopal, 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 Govardhan Dhar Gopal,
हे गिरिधर गोपाला जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला
Hey Giridhar Gopala, Jai Jai Giridhar Gopala, Jai Jai Giridhar Gopala,
कृष्ण गिरिधर गोपाला कृष्ण गिरिधर गोपाला कृष्णा गिरिधर गोपाला
Krishna Giridhar Gopala, Krishna Giridhar Gopala, Krishna Giridhar Gopala,
राधा गिरिधर गोपाला राधा गिरिधर गोपाला राधा गिरिधर गोपाला
Radha Giridhar Gopala, Radha Giridhar Gopala, Radha Giridhar Gopala,
ओ माधव मुरहरि मधुर मनोहर गिरिधर गोपाला
Madhav Murahari Madhura Manohar Giridhar Gopala,
ओ माधव मुरहरि मधुर मनोहर गिरिधर गोपाला
Madhav Murahari Madhura Manohar Giridhar Gopala,
जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला
Jai Jai Giridhar Gopala,
कृष्ण गिरिधर गोपाला
Krishna Giridhar Gopala,
राधा गिरिधर गोपाला
Radha Giridhar Gopala,
जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला
Jai Jai Giridhar Gopala.
बोली श्री वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय. At this time, devotees, may we all clasp our hands, we close our eyes, we bow our heads, once more focusing our minds at the feet of Shri Krishna Bhagwan. As we humbly supplicate, we submit ourselves at the feet of that divine Lord. We ask that Lord to be gracious and to be merciful, to shower His grace and blessings upon those departed ancestors, wherever they may be, whatever conditions they may be existing under this time. We ask that Lord to embrace them. We ask that Lord to uplift them, to make them peaceful, to make them happy. For those who are making offerings onto your departed ancestors, may that Lord continue to guide you and to bless you, to encourage you in this path of devotion, in this activity It is tremendously beneficial for those who are passed on, as well as for that one who is performing this activity. We all pray, devotees. Harihi Om Mantrahinam Kriyahinam Bhaktihinam Janardanam Yata Pujitam Maya Deva Paripuranam Tarastu Me Om Avahanam न जानami Visarjanam Pujam Chaiva न जानami Shamyatam Parameshwaram Tvameva Mata Shapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Shasaka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya He Sarva Shaktiman Sachiranand Nirakar Nirvikar Sarvadhar Sarveshwar Sarvavyapak Antaryami Ajar Amar Nitya Pavitra Shrishti Karta Ko Barambar Namaskar hai He Paramatma Bhavishya Vartaman दुखियों का कष्ट हरण करके सुबुद्धि को प्रकाश कर कि जिससे सबका मंगल होए ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम. We all chant very beautifully to the feet of Shri Krishna Bhagavan these humble praises. Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Raman Hari Govind Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai
Gopal Jai Jai Radha Raman Hari Govind Jai Jai
Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Raman Hari Govind Jai Jai
Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Raman Hari Govind Jai Jai
Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Raman Hari Govind Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai
Radha Raman Hari Govind Jai Jai
Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Raman Hari Govind Jai Jai
Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Raman Hari Govind Jai Jai
Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Raman Hari Govind Jai Jai
Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Raman Hari Govind Jai Jai
Radha Raman Hari Govind Jai Jai Radha Raman
Hari Govind Jai Jai
बोली श्री वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय. श्री गीता माता की जय. श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की Jai 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 Sitaram. Prem Se Aasan Lijiye. Please have your seats. So devotees, please be reminded that period of Pitri Paksh started yesterday. It will continue on to September 25th. So those who are calculating correctly, or those who are counting, you'll find that there's 16 days, 16 calendar days. When we say it's one Paksh is 15 days. So how this is happening? There's 2 days, 2 of our calendar days in which Ashtami falls. Ashtami Tithi falls on 2 of those days. So in the translation from lunar days to our calendar days, it now becomes 16. All right? So it just means one more opportunity to make an offering for the departed ancestors, right? So it will finish on September 25th, which is a Sunday. So next week, Sunday, again, we'll be doing Gita Puja and offerings to the ancestors. And on the 25th also, service will be dedicated in this way. Then from the 26th, the period of Sharad Navratri will begin. So then our focus will shift towards Devi Mata in her various forms. So those who are making offerings to the departed ancestors, and if you need any sort of guidance and you'd like to contact me, I'll be very happy to share with you procedures for making your offerings. There's a lot of information that is being shared via social media, internet, etc. Right? But make sure you get the guidance of your guru, get the guidance of your pandits, and make sure that you're doing what is right. Make sure you're doing what is correct. Not everything that we see online is correct. You get a lot of conflicting information, and this can confuse us. So just be careful with that. So consult with your pandits, consult with your gurus, make sure that you get correct guidance, proper guidance from them when making these offerings. So once more, devotees, God's choices, grace and blessings to each and every one of you. Join with us again next week Sunday at 10 a.m. when we continue our devotions. Until then, Jai Jai Sitaram.